Welcome back. We are going to work on signature number 4 for page 2 of our album. So here's page 1. Here is signature 3 on page 2, and now we're going to work on signature number 4. So this is my base page, and it has the same measurements at 8 1/8 by 8 3/8. Now, I am looking at this and I'm trying to discern what these are. At first glance, I thought they were kisses, but they're not. So I'm not sure what they are. But anyway, digressing. So we're going to make a side pocket, and I'm going to use this piece of scrap. It's got some beautiful little elements on it that I do like. So we're going to put it on here, and it's going to go here on the left. I want to keep the bow intact. Now the pocket itself is 2 1/4 inches, not counting the die that I'm using. So then I will cut to fit this piece of paper. I've got some snipping to do here. Cut to fit this, and then I will put on my bling. And then I thought I would use the candy canes here. And there's 2 that arch the same way, and there's one that arches the other way. So I'm going to put them on kind of at a slight bit of a canter and put that one in the middle. All right, so let's go ahead and get our pocket set into place. Set that corner and that corner. And then I'm going to glue this piece in. This signature will not be as big as the last 2. It'll be a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I'm going to put on the bling. Get enough glue on there to ensure that this is going to hold and stay. And then we'll get up here and snip that little extra one off. Okay, now I'm going to put my candy canes in. I wanted to use these. I just either changed my mind as to where I was putting them, and then I kind of forgot about them. And there we go. All right, so that's made. Now on our next, we've got a couple of panels. I do believe they are the same, but let's just double check that. I'm going to take my pieces apart here, grab hold of, okay. I thought I put the measurements on already. All right, so I have them coming in at 5 3/4 by the 8 1/8, and you're going to have a 1/2 inch score, and you're going to do 2 of them. So we're going to go ahead and get this taped on. I'm taping, you might be gluing, it's whatever your preference is. Okay, our inside panels. We're going to use this 12 by 12 sheet. Just ignore that mess there. And that's going to be the same for both sides. So you're going to cut to fit. And then on both sides, we are going to do a tuck in the middle. And, for goodness sakes, I'm going to do a middle tuck. And then I went to the gears sheet and I cut out one of the gear sets, and I put one of my extra little red blings that's going to go on there, but I am still going to add some bling behind it, but I think, no, there's the other half. And then we will be set to go. So that's going to be this side. Now this side, we're going to do the same thing. It's the other half of the musical notes page, and we're going to do another tuck, still leaving you room to put on your photos, and that's going to go there. And then I took out there's a small gear, and it just had the star, the silver gear, and then a star. I cut out one of the small poinsettia leaves, and I glued it to the top so that it would somewhat mimic this. And it's going to go on here like so. So they're somewhat coordinating. Okay. So while I've got this page up, I'm just going to go ahead and now I want to find out where my 3 1/2. Oh, I've got to put the paper on first. What am I doing? I'm such a ding-ding. Getting way ahead of myself. Okay, now I have lost, oh, there it is. I get myself all discombobulated. I know that's not a word, but that's how I feel. Want to be at least somewhat in the center. And is it on their level? Oh, now I've got it too far into the gusset. Hold on. Come on, let go. Let go. And then I think I'm putting, as I'm looking at this, I'm somewhat hesitating, and I apologize. I do believe I am putting the wrong elements. I want these on this strip of the musical notes, which is going to go on another page. So I'm going to reserve this to go on the musical notes page. There is something else that I was putting here, which was one of the brass elements. It's a clock. There are two different styles. I have to find the other one. So I'm going to put that aside until I can locate the other one. Thought this would be a good place to use the musical notes because it would match up with this piece of paper over here quite well. So let's go ahead and get this strip put together. Oh, and by the way, these are measuring 1 1/4 by 5 1/4 without the die trim, just in case you're wondering. I try to stay consistent with a lot of my pockets and tuck measurements. I don't know why I'm doing it that way. So I want this roughly at about 3. Oh, here we go. This, I want this to be roughly at about 3 1/2. So for the embellishment, we will come back to this, but for now I want to get the red bling adhered. And keep in mind when you're putting these on that you stay off that gusset because you don't want it to turn and that gets caught up in there. And I'm going to snip this one off down here. Okay. And then we're going to put this one in. Start just off the gusset, come to the outside, and then if you need to do any trimming, do it there. I'm hanging over just a smidgen, but I'm wondering if I can't smudge these up just a bit to take up that room. I'm afraid if I cut this piece off, then I'm going to be way short, so I don't want to do that. All right, so that's what we have so far. I know I've got some embellishments I'm going to put here, but I need to find them both, so we'll come back. So now we're going to close this up, and then on this side, you have a 12 by 12 sheet that has the houses, there it is, has the houses on one side and then the clouds on the other. We're going to use the side that has the clouds. And then we're going to use the piece of musical notes. Now when I trimmed these, it's upside down. I figured it out. So when I trimmed these, I trimmed them so that this row of musical notes was going down the middle. And then this is where I'm putting, this bling is on this tuck here. And then I am going to put, oops. All right, well, I need to get this off this paper clip, goodness sakes. There we go. And then we're going to add our strips of bling. See, these two went together. I had a short piece, so I wanted to make sure I got that in there. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to get these added in. And again, these tucks are 1.25 inches by the width of the page. So once this page is down, you're going to take a look at the width of this, and you should be cutting them right about 5 1/8. So let's see what I have here. Actually, mine came in at 5 1/4, so let me make sure that that's a true cut. Boy, I didn't put that on there straight either. Nope, 5 1/4 will be your cut. Now I'm going to have to use this strip to try and hide, well, I can't. Well, I didn't pay attention when I put that on. Well, what a silly. I'll hide it. I'm not going to waste it, and I'm not going to take up your time while I trim out another piece, so I will make it work. And then I want these two pieces here. This will help to at least level out the playing field a little bit. Just put this at an angle. Okay, and then we'll glue this piece in. Now I did take one of the little, I'm snipping them off and I've got one extra. I did put it on here to make it sparkle just a little bit. And I think I'm just going to run the glue down the center. All right. And I'm going to take tape that's 1/8 of an inch. Now I want to be at about 3.5 when I put this down. And the reason I'm saying 3.5 is I would like to get the tape as close to, because 4 inches is my center, but if I put it at 4 inch, I've got it short down here. So I want this up closer to 3.5 to make my center, if that makes any sense. Now I have roughly the same sizes on both. Okay, so now let's move over here and get this one done. And then we're going to put on our plane. And then we're going to glue this down the center of this one as well. And then this makes it easy for lining up. Oh, Charlie, look at what I did. I don't know what's the matter with me. I am just happy-go-lucky, just moving right along, forgetting steps. I know you know better. See a pencil mark down here. I'm going to erase it. Okay, so we are good to go on that. All right, now we're going to move on to our outer pages. All right, our right side page, not including the die, is 7 1/4 by the 8 1/8, and then you're going to score it at 1/2, and then you're going to score it at 5/8. That 5/8 is going to wrap around the build that we just did. Make sure that this is on here straight. And I'm just in front of the 5/8 score so that this lays over. Make sure your gusset is laying correctly. You don't want it folding in this way. You want it right here on the edge. And then this page is going to be 6 3/16. You can cut this down, you can make it bigger, but keep in mind that you're going to cut the piece of paper for this panel, and then what was left went here, and my piece of cardstock, let's look at this side, came in at 6 3/16. So you can actually cut that down to 6 1/8. I'd rather have you short your designer paper by 1/8 of an inch than to have your panel look like you didn't measure it correctly, which is what I do often enough. So wrap that around. No sense in you making the same mistakes I make. And again, I'm going to come just up to that 5/8 score line because I just want this to roll over and keep that gusset straight on the end. We need to address the magnet. So this is the one that's going to be on the top. So we're going to put the magnet on the back side of this. So that it will place correctly on that left side panel. And making sure your gussets are flat on the end before you commit, and make sure that they're straight top and bottom. Give her a gentle slide. And then I'm always going to add some reinforcements to where my magnets are. All right. Now, these inside panels, we are now going to use this 12 by 12 sheet. And I always cut to the bigger panel first, and then I take what's left over after I cut the bigger panel. I take what's left over, and that's how I get the size for this signature. And then this will just come in and sit the remainder of the paper. So I'm going to tape this down. Going to add a little bit of reinforcement on this other side here. All right, and I'm just going to, I'm more concerned about my gusset, so I just want to sneak up to it, lay this down, and then I'll commit those 2 pieces of tape. All right, so on this page here at the bottom, we're going to build a pocket. I can get this all apart. And this one, let me just double check. This one is 1 7/8 in its depth. I wanted it just a tad bit deeper, but I was playing with a scrap piece. Okay, so now and then I'm going to line up just in front of that score line, come across this bottom, and then it will lay where it's supposed to here on this end. Now I'm using this scrap, and I cut it with the intent that I wanted some of the full-size trees to be included in this cut. But I didn't want the pocket much bigger than what I had trimmed it to. And then in your scraps, there is a piece of cut that we took out that had houses across the bottom. And what I did, I went in and I cut out one of them, backed it on to red cardstock, and then that's going to go down here in the middle. But let's get the bling on first. Okay, I am going to push it this way just a hair. I'm off that gusset sufficient enough. I don't want to cut that any shorter than what the length I already have. Okay, so now, oh, I just messed up. It'll dry. I glued the tops here. I'm just not going to press down on it. I'm just going to press here, and I'll just let the glue dry that's on the underside. Okay, there's that panel. I'm going to fold this, and then we're going to work on this panel. So let's go ahead and let's get it glued in first. I'm such a dingy. I'm just going to build on it and not get it glued in. And then watching my gussets over here. And then I did the same thing here. I made a smaller pocket. I took one of the smaller houses, and I'm going to treat it as my accent here. Now, did I get tape on this? No. Start just to the left of that gusset. And then again, I trimmed out this piece with the intent to have full-size trees on this. Here's my bling. I'm going to start down here because it's easier to trim on the end. And I just need to trim one off. Oh, come on. There we go. And then we will add the house. I will make sure that I'm not gluing the top part of it. Okay, so now we have the inside of this page built. Now we're going to play with the outside. All right, the one I'm playing with is this one. And and this is what set the size for these pages, is that I trimmed up on this tree. I trimmed left to right, and this came in at 3 5/8. So that's where I added the measurements in for the trim. And then this was the leftover large piece, and that's what controlled the size of this page. But up on the top of this is this little framed in photo. I went ahead, because I had to cut it off the top, that I'm taking this and I'm going to pretend that, you know, this is Christmas time. This went like this, so we've got all the packages, that this is going to be the family photo up here at the top. Now on the Christmas tree, I'm wondering if this would work. I really want this to be the lead, but I don't think it's going to work because of where the magnets just got set. No, it's not going to work. So this will go underneath. And what I did, I have all these little one-offs where I'm snipping, so I added here on the bow, and I added one here on each of the bows down here, so that there is a bit of a sparkle on this piece. And I am going to go ahead and we're going to get this taped in. Didn't get that all peeled off. This is the glue from the package. So we're going to close this, and then we're going to glue this in. Oh, there it is. And we're going to put put the family photo. It won't work here, and I don't want to cut the tree off. So we're going to treat the family photo this way. That's what I'm calling it anyways, the family photo. And you know you've got family photos on your walls someplace. Now that I've got this in here, this black knot or screw, whatever that piece is right there, just screams for a black bead to go there. But I have been toying with altering that and putting a little bit of red bling on this side. And then accenting it on the back. That's what I'm going to do. There. It's got a little excess glue around the edges, but it will dry. So I'm not worried about that. All right, let's get our bling down the front. We have 2 rows to set. And I'm hanging over the end here just a smidgen. Can I make up the gap by even? There we go. Push that up a little bit, take up that gap down there. And there we go. Okay, so this is what we have. I think the only thing I need to address is I want to put these brass clocks here on this. Have to drop it kind of low because that locket piece up on the top is quite large. So I have to drop that quite a ways down there because it's not going to glue in with the bling there. And then we've set this one here. Okay. I think we've got her all set and ready to go. So now we will put our tape on the back side and get ready to put this in the album. And we'll put 2 strips down the center for additional support. Let's get our book. And this is going to come in here just like this. Okay, let's get this one down here first. It's easier to get to before the other three get pulled. Make sure that gusset is standing up when I commit. And now it's easier to get to these three here. And then I'll make sure my gusset is all right. Turn it around and we're going to go ahead and give her a good burnish. Make sure I get this in here really good. Okay. So there we have, oh, well, I can see right now we have a problem, don't we? Why is that? Why is that bunching up like that? It didn't earlier. Huh, it was just laying wrong. Okay, there we go. We're all in. We got one more to go. I'll see you then.